What's going on, you guys? Thanks for tuning in to the channel. I am Mitchell with Mitchell's Lawn Care, located here in Colfax, North Carolina. Behind me is First Products UA-60 aeravator that I recently picked up from STI Turf Care here in Colfax. And today I'm going to do a full walk around and show you all about this thing and why I picked it up. All right, you guys, so let's get the old Boda cranked up and get this piece out of here. All right, really easy. So, not gonna lie, when I first went to see this thing, when Chris at STI called me and said, hey, the aeravator is in, I rolled up there and the first question I asked myself was, to myself, I didn't say it to him, but like, what have I got myself into? Reason being, and sorry if the audio is crap in here, I'm in a cab of a tractor, but when I first saw it, the first thing that came to mind was, wow, this is one of the most complicated pieces of equipment, if not the most complicated pieces of equipment that I've ever purchased for the fleet. So Chris started going over some things, and like anything that is, overwhelming to you, information starts to go in one ear and out the other because you can't process it all the first time. But after I've had some time to look over this thing here at the shop, I have ran it for a few minutes, just minutes, to get familiar with, how it sounds, how it feels, how it runs. I ran it in the front yard here for a little bit, but did some calibration on it yesterday evening, and I'll go over that with you. But after spending a little bit of time with it, like anything, it's not a big scary beast like I thought it was. And First Products has really done their homework and made it stupid proof. So let's get out and check this thing out. All right, you guys, so like I said, this is the UA-60 aeravator by First Products. 60 meaning this is their 5-foot model, 60 inches. And mine is equipped with the seeda-vator. So aeravator, seeda-vator. This right here on the side is all the chains and how everything works. So if you were to pretty much check all the blocks with the aeravator, this is what you would get. The base unit consists of just this black frame, okay, with the aeravator shaft right there, those tines, okay, and off of that platform is where everything else is mounted, the rake and roller setup, and then the seeda-vator. Okay, so you can get it with just the aeravator, just the tines. You can add the rake and roller. They've got different types of rollers, so there's a couple different options back here behind it. This is the roller that I chose to go with. You'll see Oli Pool, buddy of mine, he's got the spike roller. So they both do different things. And in order to operate the seeda-vator, you have to have a roller. A roller, doesn't have to be this roller, but you have to have a roller, because the roller is what drives the seeda-vator. As you can see right here, there's a little shaft, and there's a pulley system, okay, that operates a set of chains that goes up, spins the auger, and then out goes the seed. So first question, why did I buy this? Okay, main reason is dry, compacted, hard soil, which there is a ton of it around the area where I live. A lot of the properties that I service and look after, they don't irrigate, so their ground is hard as a rock. And over the years, you find out that core pluggers don't operate well on hard compacted soil. They just bounce on top. So these aeravators, the way they work, these solid steel tines right here, I believe if I counted correctly, there's 21 on each section. Okay, so you do the math. But anyways, when this is down into the ground, it not only is it like poking a hole in the ground, but it shakes. Okay, therefore it fractures the top of the soil as opposed to pulling a core plug. Now, if all you had was the aeravator, what you would want to do is go ahead and overseed your lawn. I know that's different than your core plugging, but overseed your lawn and then run the aeravator after you have seeded. So what that'll do is your seed's laying here on the ground, the aeravator comes along, busts up and fractures the ground where the seed is, therefore, you know, evenly dispersing and putting the seed in the ground. But we all know the soil to seed contact is very important with germination. Okay, so it's completely backwards that of a core plugger, where you aerate with the core plugger and then put your seed down. So if that's why I bought this, okay, because it's really going to work well for the hard compacted soil in the area I live, especially here at my own house. This is my front yard. Okay, I'm not going to irrigate here, and it is just bone dry, like hard compacted soil, especially up there at the top where it's hard red clay. Another reason is I would consider this like a premier service. You know, not a lot of guys, there are some guys around me that have them, but not a lot of guys around me have aeravators. So it's a service that I can offer that, you know, someone else can't. So I also wanted to be appealing to other contractors. If they have a property that they're trying to work on for their customer, they could subcontract me, come in, aeravate and overseed for them, and, you know, turn that lawn around and go about my merry way. So I wanted to be appealing to contractors and just do something a little bit different. This is more of a niche market. It's not gonna fit on your smaller properties. So, you know, I mean, if you look at the overall size of this tractor with all of it, you know, it's much larger than your regular core plugger. So I'm not going to be doing small compact yards, little postage stamp yards. So I'm going to be focusing on your larger lawns and larger properties. Another reason I bought it, third and last for now, just for this video's purposes, another reason I bought this thing is for doing like new turf installs. The way the aeravator works, you get a much higher germination rate than that of a core plugger, because with a core plugger, you know, I've owned them for years and operated them, so I can, this is my opinion only, if this was a core plugger, you know, several times out of 10 you're only going to get germination where that actual core plug is pulled up. In between, the space in between where those tines are, a lot of times you don't get germination. You come back a few weeks later and your yard looks like polka dots. With the aeravator and how it busts up and fractures the soil, I did a space right over here just yesterday testing. You're going to get a much higher seed to soil contact. So as you can see right here, this ground was all solid, but look how loose it is now. Okay, it's all busted up. So the seed is going to be embedded down in that, as opposed to just sitting on top in between where the tines of a core plugger aerated. Now, I do want to preface this with the fact, not trying to downplay the importance or the position or role of a core plugger in our industry. They're still very important. They have their place. I've been told by Ole Pool that, you know, soft, wet, moist, you know, properties, your core plugger is going to shine as opposed to the aeravator. Because if you think about it, this thing is shaking violently fracturing the top of the soil. If it's wet, soft, it's not really going to fracture. It's just going to be really like soft, pliable, and it's not going to do what it's designed to do. In that situation, a core plugger would shine. Okay, so that machine and this machine kind of go hand in hand in our industry, so not knocking it at all, and I still own one and I'll still use it. All right, why did I get the setup that I got? Let's be honest, I want to be able to jump in the tractor, provide this service, aeravation and overseeding, and only get out of my tractor, one, to check how much seed I've got, or two, load and unload the tractor. Okay, so ease of service. Work smarter, not harder, right? So that's why I got this, and I'm still learning this machine. Okay, so I may miss something. For you guys that catch on to something that I say wrong, let me know in the comment section down below. Be nice about it. Like I said, I don't even have an hour on this machine yet, so a lot of this stuff I'm spitting out at you is just some of the things I've read, some of the things I've seen, and a few things that I've experienced here in my own front yard. Okay, so rake. So it's got a rake. This reminds me of like a dethatcher. Okay, so for one, you can lower and raise it right there, so this goes up and down, and you can operate it like a dethatcher as well. Also, it's going to help you know, break up some clumps and things like that that may be generated from the aeravation. Okay, and then the roller serves as, in my opinion, the prime priority of it. The number one priority of it is it drives the seeda-vator. Okay, but two, it also does it has some, like, you know, lawn leveling properties. I wouldn't say it's, you know, that's its main gig, but it does help, you know, break up or smooth some rougher areas that are generated by the aeravator. Okay, so kind of combing the dirt, leveling the dirt. Now this has an adjustment right here. I'm trying not to make this video super long. There's an adjustment right here, so you can apply pressure, down pressure to the ground, in turn raising the height of the tines, or the depth of the tines go into the ground. Okay, so the less that, when you crank that, the less pressure that you put on the ground with this roller, the more pressure from the whole weight of this machine is being put on the tines. Okay, if you crank this thing up and apply more down pressure to the roller, it's going to lift the tines up. Okay, therefore, instead of going in the ground this much, you may only go on the ground this much. So it just depends on the property you're at, and you know, how far down the tines really need to go. Okay, there's two settings on the roller. It's got a fixed or a rigid position, and then it does have a slot that if you want to allow the roller to float, again, you have the option. So if I was a grass seed, what would I do? Okay, well, first I need to get into the hopper. Okay, so there's two rubber latches right here. Okay, open the hopper up and in I go if I'm the seed. Okay, what happens is seed drops down. Your little gates are right down here where the seed goes in. I know that's going to be tough to see, but if you come over on this side, I thought this was funny. There's a toilet bowl, what I would consider like a toilet bowl float in here. So you dump your seed in, lay the toilet bowl float on top, and you see that gauge right there? So from the tractor, as you use the seed, this will slowly drop to the point where it says, hey dummy, you need to check your seed. Okay, now when it's all the way down, when the float's all the way down, you'll still have some seed in there. It's just saying, hey, you may want to lay eyes on this hopper. Okay, maybe time to add some seed. Now, since we got the hopper open, First Products was awesome in putting this cedar calibration chart on here. So, you know, this fall I'm going to be doing ryegrass and bluegrass. It tells you what sprockets and then the seed rate at which they will put those down. Okay, so I've got the 32T and the 48T sprocket in mine. So I'm going to be doing 250 pounds per acre, which is 5.8 pounds per 1,000 square feet. And we don't do kilograms here. So that's what I'm going to be doing with this, is 5.8 pounds per 1,000. If I wanted to reduce that, I could just drop the sprockets, change them out, and then do 125 pounds per acre, 2.9 pounds per 1,000 square feet, and so on. Now, next spring, I'm going to be doing Bermuda grass at my place. So what I'll do is leave the sprockets the same, and then the metering shaft, which is right over here, I will do my adjustment here. I won't even touch the sprockets, but I will make my adjustment here in order to do the Bermuda grass, okay? And in essence, what that does, hopefully you can see that, see those gates right there, that when you adjust this, you control the opening here at which the rate of the seed drops, okay? We all know Bermuda grass, super tiny, so you need to dial this back, close that gate up so you're not getting a ton of seed going out. All right, so seeds in the hopper. Now, how do I get from the hopper to the ground? All right, well, I already told you guys, the roller is what drives the seed box. So let me go ahead and show you that. Oh, lost my linch pin. So check this engineering marvel out. The chain and sprocket from down there drives this pulley, and all of this stuff, okay, drives the seed box. Now you'll see a black sprocket and then a black sprocket right here. Those are the only two sprockets that you change on this aeravator, the seeda-vator. And here's the other sprocket. So if you need to change something up, you switch one out with the other. They're stored right here for ease. And then they're very easy to get to. There's a pin on the back side. Pull the sprocket out, take this linch pin off, pull that sprocket out. And there's a chain tensioner. So it's really, really easy to change that, okay? So, put this up there for right now. So, imagine driving this thing, it's aeravating, all right? The roller is rolling, therefore driving the seeda-vator. Now, in this tube right here is what I would call an auger. So the seed is sitting on top of that, and it doesn't go anywhere until this thing starts spinning. When it starts spinning, the seed's in those that auger, and then it literally just spins it until it opens up right here. See if I can show you that. So right there, it comes out of that little square, drops down into this channel, okay? And then in this channel, then it hits down in this clear tube, okay? So the seed rides down that like a slide, and then it terminates right here, okay? Comes out the end of that, hits this little plate right here, and disperses it. So seed comes out of the hopperator, through the auger, down the tube, hits this plate, and then hits the ground in front of the aeravator. So you're overseeding and aeravating all at the same time. Now you may ask yourself, or ask me, Mitchell, what if I don't want to overseed, but I want to aeravate? Really simple. You've got this thing full of seed, open up your chain box right here, sprocket box. Real easy. Pull this linch pin out right here, just pull it out. What that does, it allows this little axle, little spline, whatever you want to call it, to free float or free roll, free wheel. And in turn, it will not turn the auger up here on the seeda-vator. So it don't matter if you've got 300-400 pounds of seed in here. If you take that linch pin out, you're not going to overseed. You will only aeravate. Let's go over the 3-point setup on this thing. Really, really cool up here. So category 1, 3-point setup, and start from the bottom, work our way up to the top. So this is a kickstand right here. So when you take this unit off, you will fold this down and it rests on that, okay? So it sits on the tines, the back roller, and then this little kickstand right here, okay? Obviously you've got your 3-point attachments up here on top. It's hard for you to kind of judge what's going on here, but when you have this thing down, this whole unit, this whole aeravator will turn left and right. So when you make a left turn or a right turn, the aeravator will turn, okay? It's kind of like you're pulling a trailer, okay? Now, when you go to lift the aeravator up, this piece right here, you'll see it will go like this, okay? And I don't know if you can make it out, but right here, see my finger comes through that little welded on little bolt head right there, and this piece marry up together. I can't make it do it right now, but this locks onto that bolt head. So when you have this aeravator up in a transport position, the aeravator will stay straight. It won't cock to one side or the other, okay? So, and that's all done based on when you raise the 3-point. When you put it down on the ground, this piece folds forward, okay? They kind of come together like that. That drops down and it allows it to turn left and right. One other thing over here, you'll see it's got like this little gas strut like on a car. If you take this down, so right now it's in the transport position, as you can see, transport lock, okay? If you take this off, like so, oh, I should have taken it off before I put it on the ground. There we go. Now, what does that do, Mitchell? Well, the aeravator will go left and right like this, but now this thing will also go like this, okay? So it will go like this and like that. So it follows the terrain of the soil, the ground that you're on. And here's your pivot point right here with the little grease zerk fitting. And this shock just helps, you know, keep everything kosher and nice and smooth. So this thing moves like this, okay? So it just helps it glide over the property that you're on. When you want to calibrate this thing, you know, to make sure that you're getting the seed rate that you want, this little black box right here, it's really neat. That way you don't waste any seed. Pull this black box off, flip it up under, okay? And then you hook it on the front of this little, you know, little shield right here that the grass seed hits. So when this black box is hanging right here, whatever seed is in the hopper will be caught in this black box, so you don't waste any seed. That way you can get the seed out of that black box, weigh it to make sure that you've got this thing calibrated in the way that you want. And it's super easy. You don't even have to drive this thing around your property or your yard to calibrate it. So, well, I'm not gonna lift it back up, but under the lid, it tells you what to do based on this one being the UA-60. So you raise the unit up, okay? There's a bolt head right here. Take a 15/16 socket and your ratchet, and then you just spin this thing, okay? So what was it, 88 full revolutions? So 1, 2, 3, all the way to 88. When you get to 88, that will be the equivalent of 1,000 square feet with the aeravator. And with the way that it's set up, with the sprockets that you choose, the metering thing over here on the right, you should be able to tell based on the seed that went into the catch box, the 88 revolutions, if this thing is dialed in to the way that you want it. The way that I have it set up right now, if I turn that thing 88 times, I should, in essence, quote, have 5.8 pounds of seed that I should be able to measure in that catch box. So pretty much overall, that is the UA-60 aeravator by First Products. Oh, but wait, Mitchell, how much does it cost? Good question. Everybody always wants to know how much money you've spent on something for some reason, but I would suggest call your First Products dealer and ask them what the current pricing is. What you see right here with the aeravator, the rake, the roller, and the seeda-vator is going to set you back north of $15,000. I know it may seem like a lot, but this machine does a lot, and it's built right here in the good old US of A. And if you think about the jobs that you can do with this thing, the money that you're going to make with it, your return on your investment is going to be, you know, pretty high. It won't take you long to pay this puppy off and start making some money. And you don't have to have all of this. You know, if you want just the aeravator, it's going to set you back, I think, a little over 9,000. Okay, but if you want the seeda-vator, you have to have the rake and roller set up. All right, you guys, so that was the walk around, and I guess you want to call it review, whatever. I love it. I would hope I just spent all that money on it, but that's the walk around of the UA-60 AERA-VATOR by First Products. If you want to know the closest dealer near you, go to the First Products website, do the dealer locator, and find out. You're going to see much more of this here on the channel and on my Instagram account. Make sure you check me out over there. If you're not following me on Instagram, it's at Mitchell's Lawn Care LLC, and got a lot of content over there for you. But again, First Products AERA-VATOR behind the Kubota Grandel 4760. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Appreciate your support. Give the video a big old thumbs up if you enjoyed the content. Smash that subscribe button. Browse the channel. We'll see you next video. Oh, and real quick, you're probably thinking, all I did was blab about this thing the whole time and you didn't get to see it work. Obviously, there'll be some more videos coming out. So just be patient. Stay tuned.